Welcome everyone to another episode of Just Saying Football with Jack and Sean. I'm your host Sean Gannon, alongside my partner Jack Nicholas. We're here to bring you news, notes, weekly updates, and game analysis of your favorite teams from around the league. If you not have the chance, go check our website justsayingfootball.com and follow us on Instagram at Just Saying No G WJS for article and video updates. Week 3 finishes off with the Dallas Cowboys making their way to New York to take on the Giants. This only has a 39.5 over/under on this one. Minus 3 point spread to the Giants.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
Man, it feels weird that the Giants are actually, favorites in a game, but they are undefeated and they're at home.
Wait, what are they?
They are undefeated.
The New York Football Giants are undefeated.
They're undefeated. And, I got to tell you, with Dallas coming in, I was excited for Dak not being there. I'm like, I'm sorry that he's hurt, but I'm happy that he's not playing in the sense that this gives us a little bit of an advantage. But Cooper Rush last week actually came to play. I mean, we were talking about it a little bit in the Sunday game. Cincinnati Bengals got dominated on the offensive side by the Cowboys defense. And now, we're looking at this Cowboys team a little bit different. But how are you feeling as a non-Giants fan about this Cowboys defense versus Daniel Jones? Hasn't had to play a defense as good so far. So how are you feeling about that?
A little bit worried. Micah Parsons has gotten the pressure going early on this season, and the Dallas Cowboys look great defensively, and it's really starting with him and his ability to get after the quarterback. Bengals fans, I've been on the receiving end of a Cooper Rush loss last year as the Vikings fan, so don't worry about it. It happens. Just move on to the next one. I have a question for you. Mm-hmm. Is Cooper Rush Tom Brady, like Michael Irvin says?
I don't think so. I mean, it's kind of a crazy thing, though. I mean, last week, you look at the numbers against a good Bengals defense, or what we thought was going to be a really good Bengals defense coming into the season. 19 for 31, that's very solid for backups numbers. 235 through the air, and a 95 passer rating, not bad. Only got sacked once. I'm excited to kind of see what he's able to do. He has a great connection with Noah Brown last week. I believe Jerry Jones on his podcast this morning called him Cedric Wilson, but it is indeed Noah Brown who balled out last week against the Bengals. He had 5 catches, 91 and a touchdown, after having 5 for 68 in the first game. So, maybe Dallas has found a little second, wide receiver here. On the other side, the Giants have a funny wide receiver story as well this week. Kenny Golladay, we watched the game last week. Kenny was out there 2 snaps. He wasn't in the game intro video in the stadium. And when he left the stadium, his locker was empty.
Cleared his locker room. And first 15 minutes being there.
Supposedly. We've seen, tendencies of a player who have been requesting trades. This is definitely one of those starts, I got to say, as a Giants fan. But I am enjoying what we're doing right now. We have Sterling Shepard. Richie James has stepped up. He has 159 yards through the first 2 games. Not a lot of people talking through him. David Sills showed up last week. So I'm very excited to see how this Brian Daboll offense is utilized. He said that it's a week-by-week game plan, which I enjoy. But the Giants, I am a little nervous about in this game, I have to say. Even without Dak, even with them being favored, even with the low over-under. I mean, last year, the Giants were outscored 65-26 in their games last year. In the 2 games they played against Dallas, not really what you want to see. So I'm expecting, unless they keep it close, Dallas, this is a good opportunity for them to run with Zeke and Tony Pollard, while the Giants are still trying to get Kayvon Thibodeau and Azeez Ojulari back, and Leonard Williams' PCL sprain. They said it's supposed to not be that bad, but man, I'm worried for them, honestly. I have to say I want to pick the Giants in this one, but Dallas's defense showed up last week for me. Micah Parsons is probably one of the best defensive players out there right now.
Yeah, and we've seen when pressure gets to Daniel Jones, that's when the mistakes really begin to happen, the interceptions, the fumbles, those kinds of things. I'm doing the impossible here, and I'm going to ride the Giants for a 3rd straight week. I really do think the Cowboys are going to get the pressure going and make Daniel Jones uncomfortable, probably get a few turnovers. But I think what we've seen the last 2 weeks after having been in one is that the crowd was a huge factor. Even Matt Rule talked about it after the game. I think it's going to be the same thing. The Giants fans are really, really intense about this. I talked about it in week 2 that the crowd was going to be a huge factor. Towels were out. Everyone was cheering. Big, loud 3rd downs, loud 4th downs, these huge plays that everyone was there for. Now you got the Cowboys, a huge rival of the Giants. And you got,
keep it up.
The stadium is going to be there. They're going to be ready. And I think what we've seen the first 2 weeks with the Giants, they're not they're winning the games. It's not pretty.
Nope.
But they've been there, and they're just, they're getting the job done. They're doing it in their dirt. It's not, there's nothing flashy about it, but you're walking away with wins, and I think that's going to be kind of the MO of this Giants team this year, is that this grit mentality that we've seen so much with the Lions. It's similar to the Giants. It's just grit at this point. It's about just, playing in the dirt, that kind of stuff. And I like the Giants in this one. I'll ride them for a third week, but like I just said, Micah Parsons can provide the pressure. Those turnovers can easily happen. Daniel Jones does not like to go through his progressions, and he can easily turn the tide of a game in a quick second for the Cowboys.
Yeah, and that's my factor here is really Daniel Jones versus the Cowboys defense. I hate picking against the Giants, a 2-0 Giants, nonetheless.
An undefeated Giants.
Undefeated Giants at home in primetime. But for me, it's just a history against Dallas, a familiarity that they have with the team. Mike McCarthy really showed up against the Giants last year, despite like injuries and stuff. But it is still early for the Giants. I think that they usually struggle against Dallas and early in the season. So for years now, despite whoever's at quarterback. So it's a tough one for me, but I do like the over under there at 39. I think that's a pretty solid place for it.
Agreed.
But Zeke, man, 105 in the first 2 weeks, about 52.5 yards a game, not great. And Saquon is leading the league right now.
Yeah, I think that they're trying to get something going. Saquon did struggle last week, 21 for 72. We saw it at times, just really was grinding for those yards. I think they're definitely trying to hope that he can get back to what we saw in week 1. This will be a huge game for him to do it and get that crowd involved. Christian McCaffrey had a good game, 15 carries for 102 yards, so I'm sure Dallas is really going to try to feed the ball through Tony Pollard and Ezekiel Elliott. I think it's going to be a great Monday Night Football game. I'm looking forward to it. I think Giants fans in New York City are going to be pretty electric on Monday. I'm excited.
Just because I'm picking Dallas doesn't mean I'm against my Big Blue winning at home. I'm looking for the undefeated stuff too, but statistically it's tough for me. But I'm looking for a big night for my guy Saquon. I'm excited. I think the Meadowland's going to be bopping like it was last week.
Absolutely. All right. That's all the time that we have. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you everyone for listening. Go Big Blue.
Go Big Blue. And just remember to check us out, Just Saying Football on YouTube, Just Saying No GWJS on Instagram for all your video article updates. Stay in tune with all of our stuff on justsayingfootball.com. But enjoy the Monday game. Go Big Blue.
Enjoy.